For decades in garages up and down the country here, Autoglym Super Resin Polish has been an essential part of everyone's detailing toolkit. There's a new kid in town. It's called Paint Reviver. What is it? Is it any good? Will it replace Super Resin Polish? Well, that's what this video aims to find out. So, Autoglym Paint Reviver. Describe Autoglym as reviving paint colour and enhancing gloss for about 3 months. This non-abrasive formula works by filling and blending swirls and fine scratches in the clear coat, perhaps aimed at those that don't want to delve into machine polishing and other techniques that involve clear coat removal. So this product is repeatably usable because it's non-abrasive. Applying this product seems pretty easy. You shake up the bottle, then you can either apply it with a microfiber cloth, or if you want to go elite mode, get a good amount of it on this precision applicator. Spread it over the car, and then obviously the car needs to be clean and dry. Do not apply in wet conditions and rainy conditions outside. Spread it in lines and use that precision applicator to get right into the gaps. Allow the product to cure and haze for 10 to 15 minutes, then buff it with a clean microfiber towel to a shine. The application seems pretty straightforward to me. The product buffs off the surface well, and the first thing you notice is it doesn't have any of that unsightly polish build up on the edges that you can sometimes get with Super Resin Polish. The product costs $16.99 for 500ml, which is more expensive than some Autoglym products, but cheaper than others. You can argue though, if you're comboing SRP shown here with extra gloss protection, that's going to cost more money. Next up, appearance testing. So our test panel was heavily hammered with deep swirls that we're never going to get fully fixed by these products, but they give us a good base to use the Gonio photometer to measure improvement, so bear that in mind. So we laid out our paintwork reviver and cleaned off our applicator so the resin doesn't cure in there and it's good for next time. We buffed it after 15 minutes and then we observed the quality of the finish. Now to the eyes and the camera you might not be able to see much of an improvement there, and that's because most of the swirls are beyond what a glaze can cope with. But when we actually test this under a Gonio photometer, we got some good results showing a big improvement to the gloss readings of this panel. The haze, which isn't indicative, funny enough, of swirls, was unmoved. So I was interested to see how that scaled and compared with Super Resin Polish. But there you can see the pre-readings and the post-readings of gloss and haze. We then installed the rest of the products in this order. From left to right, Paint Reviver was topped with Rapid Ceramic Spray. The next section was just Rapid Ceramic Spray. The next section was just Paint Reviver. The next section was Super Resin Polish. The next section was just Extra Gloss Protection. And the section on the right was Super Resin Polish topped with Extra Gloss Protection. To my eyes, this section on the right with SRP topped with EGP looked the best, although you could still see some of those fine swirls. My eyes couldn't really tell the difference between the Reviver and the SRP. Very telling story when you get it outside in the light. You can see those middle two are roughly the same, and the EGP on top of the SRP looks really good. But you can see that Rapid Ceramic Spray hasn't been able to tackle those swirls or improve darkening, which is a difference between the formats, which is very interesting. And here you can see in this particular shot the Revive looks slightly better than the SRP, so it's very close between those middle two. And if you look at all the Gonio photometer data and pause the next shot here, you can see that this supports all of what I've been saying. So next up, slickness testing with the fabled forensic detailing tilt table test and these equal sized applicators. Now just having a little poke round on the panel beforehand to see what I thought was the slickest, and it was a no-brainer. The Rapid Ceramic Spray and the Paint Reviver topped with the Rapid Ceramic Spray felt slidey, and I was convinced they were going to slide down the panel first, and they did. The Rapid Ceramic Spray just seems to edge it over the Revive with the Rapid Ceramic spray on top, but very close. You will not beat the slickness of these products. They're really good. After that, guessing, I was thinking that the Revive was going to go next, the one I just pointed to. And indeed it did. And maybe that's something to do with the silicone in the formulation versus the wax in the formulation of the other. Who knows? The last three, SRP, EGP and SRP topped with EGP, were all very, very similar. But I was guessing again that it was going to be the SRP. It kind of was, but they're very similar, these three, maybe because of the wax. So a decent level of slickness, but nothing exceptional, and you tend to get that with waxes. So, hydrophobicity testing. As you can see here, if you use a higher pressure stream or a pressure washer, it really hampers your ability to see the differences in these products. So we flip over to a low pressure stream on a flat panel. You can see here a good level of hydrophobicity from SRP topped with EGP. But ironically, EGP on its own seems slightly more zingy. I don't know if you're seeing that there. But the thing that surprised me was the SRP on its own has a good level of hydrophobicity. The Revive, it's easier to pull the water, so it's repelling it away a little bit slower than the SRP, which kind of surprised me. But you would still describe them as hydrophobic. The Rapid Ceramic Spray we know is hydrophobic, but it's more of a pooler, more of a sheeter, although it can bead a little bit if you want it to. And of course the Reviver topped with SRP isn't anything really unexpected or different. And here we have an angle on the test panel, so we can actually just verify what we've talked about there. The SRP, ironically, probably seems to be the most hydrophobic. The Revive isn't bad, and most end users aren't going to be doing this sort of testing to be able to compare them. But you wouldn't buy the Revive because it's the most hydrophobic product on the market, as we've attempted to show you here. So next up, inferred durability from alkaline resistance using Surfex HD at 10%, letting it dwell, then rinsing it off and repeating 10 times. So this puts quite a heavy demand on these products and smacks them down. You can see on that left side, anything covered with Rapid Ceramic Spray has resisted it more than the Revive and the SRP in the middle, which have been the most affected. But the extra gloss protection coated or topped sections are still doing pretty well. So these glazes are more susceptible to high alkalines and will wear more and do benefit from a durability standpoint from being protected. I actually think the SRP has withstood up to this a little bit better than the Revive, and that top section of the Revive has been quite heavily degraded. So there you go. There's so much to talk about here, guys. I'm going to talk about some of the considerations. First of all, the first thing that detailers are going to say is that glazes are no good because the results aren't permanent. You're filling in the swirls rather than sort of correcting the paint. Absolutely true. But for 99% of people at home, they don't have a machine polisher and they want to improve paintwork, and swirls are a real common problem. And paint correction itself has a degree of complexity and requires a lot of tooling and environmental considerations, and it's a lot of work, and most people don't want to do it. So these products are going to be very popular for a different market of people that just want to improve their paint. Something I've said about the Paint Reserver, a note here, the fact it's not universally toppable with their UHD wax or their extra gloss protection. That would be a nice feature to have. You can top it with more their watery products, for their spray waxes, for example, like their Rapid Ceramic Spray and possibly their Aqua Wax. It's a very good facts section on the Autoglym website. The Autoglym Paint Reviver is not extremely chemically resistant, and we've demonstrated that with an alkalinity kind of detergent wash in this. It's susceptible to alkalines, it's susceptible to kind of solvent cleaners and stuff like that. It's a resin essentially that sets, and you can degrade that resin with stronger chemicals. It is not a long-lasting, durable paintwork sealant. Indeed, it offers 3 months, up to 3 months, I believe. So you would be reapplying this to get that filling effect, perhaps every 3 months. One thing that's worth mentioning is really this product needs prep. And if you're applying this for the first time, you need to consider what's on your car, because in my head, with a non-abrasive formula, if you're applying this over a car that's had recent protection on it, depending what that protection is, that could already be filling some of those defects and inhibiting this product from working. That will be minimal, but I wouldn't apply it if there's fresh protection on your car and you want to maybe consider doing a strip wash or something on the car before you use this to potentially get better results. And there's no facility within this product to do that beyond Autoglym advising that you could decontaminate with their Magma product, but that's more of a fallout remover. It'd be nice if there was a prep wash product that you could accompany this with to cater for that. This product can't handle deep scratches as shown on the test panel. So if you've got really heavy swirls on your car, do not buy this or Super Resin Polish. Think you're going to put it over the car, let it cure, wipe off and have perfect paint. No, no glazes can do that. Their filling effect is more for fine haze, which gives you a really good improvement. But don't think of them as swirl correctors. Think of them as paintwork improvers, and they absolutely do that, as the kind of the data shows and our eyeballs show. They also darken off the finish and give you a really nice darkening effect, or if it's not a dark car, a restoration of clarity of the paint underneath through that filling effect. They absolutely do that. You can't use the product in wet conditions. Not machine applicable. It's non-abrasive. That's less of a problem. It's designed to be used by hand. The moment you've got a machine, you're thinking about applying it, you might be better off with a product that has an abrasive function. The product contains silicon, according to the facts on the Autoglym website. Maybe the core resins in it are silicon based, or maybe there's a bit of silicon carrier in it. Don't know. Super Resin Polish, I believe, was more wax and resins. Maybe this is more silicon as a resin. Yeah, don't know. Trim safety is an issue with both the Super Resin Polish and the Reviver, because it's a setting resin. You don't want that resin to dry on rubber or trim. So if you get any on the rubber, just wipe it off. If it starts to set, I think Autoglym say you can use a little bit of their glass cleaner, or sometimes if that doesn't work, you can use a panel wipe. Because this is solvent carried, maybe a hydrocarbon panel wipe is the ideal thing to remove any product residues that you do get on trim. You could always mask off trim, but just generally stay away from it. It's not for use on matte finishes, or rubber or trim. It's primarily a lacquer filler or a paintwork filler, okay? So there's some of the considerations. What are the benefits of this product? Well, because it's non-abrasive, there's no intense rubbing or requirement to work the product to get an abrasive scrub. So the more you work Super Resin Polish by hand, you get some benefits of the abrasive function. This, you lay it out as a resin and let it cure. So no intense rubbing, no dust, no chalk lines, especially around the edges. It doesn't form a sort of chalky line that you sometimes get with the Super Resin Polish once it's dried, and if you miss any of that, you can sometimes see those little white lines on the edges. I think that might be one of the big driving forces behind the creation of this. It's a single solution version almost of Super Resin Polish. So when you go over the car and apply this and work it and let it cure, you then have to buff it all off of the panel. You then really need to top the Super Resin Polish, or everyone seems to, and extra gloss protection, this liquid wax was the way to do that, which also needs to be applied over the car, cured and buffed again. That is quite a lot of work, okay? And modern products like this are much more rapid, and there's been a shift towards it. Well, Paint Reviver gets somewhere in the middle, that it's almost like doing what these two products do in one step, which is a very important advantage of the product. Water-based toppable I kind of like, because the moment you consider topping this with extra gloss protection, you might as well use Super Resin Polish, really. So topping it if you want to, and we've proven there's benefits to doing that because this has good chemical resistance, is a lot quicker process. So that's the main advantage of Autoglym Paint Reviver, a single product which is giving you protection and filling, but ultimately can be toppable if you want to do that. I think that's the right way to approach it. In terms of pricing, you'll save money if you buy the Paint Reviver on its own. instead of two products, but if you're just looking pound for pound comparison, it's more expensive than the Super Resin Polish. So it depends how you look at it. $16.99 for 500 ml of this glaze isn't particularly expensive. What does it smell like, John? Well, it's got a very familiar kind of solvent backbone smell to it that smells like there might be some scents in there as well. It almost reminds me of getting into an interior of a new car where there's a slight fragrance smell, but you can smell a bit of those kind of components in there as well. It's hard to describe. If you gave me this bottle and there's no label on it, it was in a different bottle, I would know it was an Autoglym product from the smell and how it works. They use this sort of similar solvent base in a lot of their products, and you can recognize it. Yeah, is the smell good or bad? It's kind of neither. It's hard to describe. it's like a polishy, leathery, musky kind of thing. Overall, guys, Autoglym Paint Reviver has passed the test that optically it's virtually the same as Super Resin Polish. In fact, almost identical. Under the gonio photometer, my eyeballs tell me that the Super Resin Polish looks slightly darker. Overall, the Super Resin Polish and the extra gloss protection had the best impact visually and the most gloss rating, and EGP is a very glossy product, so that doesn't surprise me. But then down here, the one that resisted the detergents well was the Reviver with the rapid ceramic spray on it. So it's like, there's something to be said for waxes in terms of appearance and gloss. There's something to be said in terms of ease of use of these rapid ceramic sprays and their chemical resistance and how quick they are. And then in the middle with these glazes, the one you should pick is dependent on what I've just spoken about, whether you don't mind the double buff, or you've moved into this genre of using products like the rapid spray wax. Yes, that's interesting. One wish list, I would like to know how long you're supposed to leave this before topping it with the rapid ceramic spray. I gave it about an hour, and I felt that when you put the rapid ceramic spray on top, you could feel a little bit of tackiness, so maybe leaving it longer doesn't do that, but it still buffs back and comes out okay. The product is nice to use. When you lay it down on a test panel, it feels like quite a stiff buff, but when it's on a car, it's a different kettle of fish. The buff feels improved over the Super Resin Polish. It also, to my eye, cures and vapes quicker than the Super Resin Polish. Overall, the Paint Reviver looks to deliver on its product claims of improving the finish, but not perfecting it, and giving you some of those sealant properties. What would I wish from the product if it could be perfect? I wish, perhaps I'd like Autoglym to explore different emulsion technologies that might be less solvent based. Although this is their thing, this is their platform, this is how they do it. But I'd be interested to see if they come up with a more creamy emulsion than a sort of watery solvent. In an ideal world as well, this would pass every slick test and be the slickest product on the market, the most hydrophobic product on the market, and the most durable product on the market as a sealant, and a completely perfect glaze that fixes everything. It can't do that. I can say though, if you use this on a tired looking car, perhaps a car that's between 2 to 6 years old and has just got that initial wash marring on, you put this on, you'll be really impressed with the results. And I will be using it and demoing it on a few more cars in future. Paint Revival is worth a look, and we've delved into all the things it does well and some of the things that the old stalwart can still do very well. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments your thoughts, and I'll see you soon on the Forensics Detailing channel.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I when you